Well, good morning and welcome to Coffee with the Pastor. We're in Holy Week or Passion Week. It is a very holy week for Christians. And I'm doing what I did last year. A lot of people seem to be really informed. A lot of folks didn't realize that you could break down the days of Passion Week and figure out what happened. You have to look at all the Gospels to kind of get this. But we can figure out what happened on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday, and then before the resurrection on Sunday. And so we'll do that this week. And the first thing, we'll start on Sunday. And how do we know this? Well, John's Gospel, if you go, this one of the first events that happened on Sunday is the triumphant entry, Palm Sunday, is recorded in all four Gospels. John tells us that it happened 6 days before Passover, which would put it on Sunday, which would have been the Jewish first day of the week. The Jewish Sabbath started on Friday night and goes to Saturday night, which it still does today. But it was the first day of the week, and I will take most of my passages from Mark. Mark does more with the Passion story than any other gospel. In fact, a good part of his gospel is the Passion narrative. I've read some commentators that say that he just put enough in the other, but his real purpose was getting you to the Passion passages. But they're in going to Jerusalem. We know they've gone through Jericho, where blind Bartimaeus was healed, and he may have been with the group. But they have come up through Jericho, and they're on their way. Now, understand that the pilgrims from Galilee and other out region areas, they come down and they go through Jericho. And if you've not been to the Holy Land, let me tell you, when you go to Jericho, you go up, because Jerusalem's built on a mountain and Jericho's down at the foothills of the mountain, and you go up. In the Psalms, there are many Psalms called Psalms of Ascent, and that's when they would get to Jericho, they would start reciting these songs, singing these songs, praying these psalms, all the way up until they went to the place. So understand, there would have been tens of thousands of people on the road that day, and most of them from Galilee going that way. And so Jesus gets to Bethany and gets around the Mount of Olives, and he sends two disciples to go get a donkey. And they go, and he says if they question you about it, just tell them that the Lord needs it, and they won't bother you. And that did happen. In one of the gospel accounts, the owner questioned them. They told him apparently it wasn't a problem. So they brought the donkey to Jesus, and Jesus comes riding into Jerusalem on a donkey. And that fulfills a prophecy of Zechariah, where your king will come in riding on a donkey. But as Jesus is coming, people are recognizing him. He was very popular in Galilee. They start throwing their cloaks down before the donkey. They start putting the palm branches down. And they start yelling, and this is from verse 9 of Mark chapter 11. They yell, "Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the coming kingdom of the Father of our father David. Hosanna in the highest." Jesus entered Jerusalem and went to the temple. He looked around at everything, but since it was already late, he went out to Bethany with the 12. So Jesus gets on a donkey and he leads a parade. And they're yelling Hosanna, and they're yelling, "Blessed is he, is the coming kingdom of our Father David." When they start talking like that, they're saying, "You're the Messiah." And so the people were proclaiming this, they were yelling this, they were screaming this. They're giving great praises. In fact, the Pharisees, I think as in Luke, complain about this, and Jesus says if these folks weren't doing it, the rocks themselves would cry out. This is the triumphant entry. The crowds will be much different on Friday, but on this day, and the crowds could have been different. These folks could have been Galilean pilgrims coming to the temple. whereas on Friday they could have been more of the people who lived there in Jerusalem. I think that's probably a good, probably what happened. But anyway, we see that on Sunday, Jesus led a parade and enjoyed it. Sometimes we need to go enjoy parades in our life, things in our life. And Jesus did enjoy it. He knows what's coming, but he enjoyed this day. So that's what happened on Sunday. Now let's go to Monday. And here's how we know. In Mark chapter 11, verse 12, it says, the next day. Well, that was Sunday. The next day would be Monday. And I call this the day of authority. The next day as they were leaving Bethany, Jesus was hungry, and he saw in the distance a fig tree in leaf. It looked like it had fruit. But when he got there was no fruit. It was not the season for figs, but there was no fruit on the tree. So Jesus curses the fig tree. It says, may no one ever eat fruit from you again. And his disciples heard him say it. And we're going to talk about that kind of strange event tomorrow. For those who are in my congregation, you heard me preach on that during the prayer series. I used that one week. But we'll talk about what happens with that. But that really kind of happens in the discussion on it happened on Tuesday. So Jesus goes on up to the temple area, and what he sees he doesn't like. You've got money changers there changing money, and what was going on with that is you had Roman money, and then they had temple money. And so they had to exchange the money, but it wasn't at a very good rate from what I understand. They were cheating the people with the exchange. They were selling the doves, which most of the people would have bought for their sacrifice. They had animals there. From what I've been able to read, I feel like that people who would bring their own animals probably would get them rejected, but then they would shift them through and then sell them again and sell them. They were robbing the people, and Jesus saw it, and he didn't like it. And so a lot of people don't like this side of Jesus, but Jesus takes a whip and he turns over the tables of the money changers, and he whips the animals out, and he whips the money changers out, and he just runs them out. What I find interesting is that nobody stopped him. And the only thing I can think about that is that people must have known that these folks were robbing. They must have known that it was wrong. Now he's going to get questioned about it the next day, but nobody stopped him when he was doing it. And I have a feeling that his followers would have not let anybody stop him, because Jesus said this. He says, my Father's house is to be a place of prayer, not a place for them to be robbing and stealing folks. In fact, this is what it said. I'll just read it. It's from verse 17. And as he taught them, he said, is it not written, my house will be called a house of prayer for all nations? But you made it a den of robbers. And what's interesting is in Mark, as the chief priests and teachers of the law heard and began looking for a way to kill him, for they feared him, because the whole crowd was amazed at his teaching. The chief priests were pretty ticked off that he had got their racket going, and they weren't going to be able to do all these, make all this money because of Jesus running them out. And so they started looking to kill him. There's two events that gets them really wanting to kill Jesus. One was the raising of Lazarus, and a lot of those were the Pharisees, and the Sadducees. But the raising of Lazarus got them saying, this guy's in trouble. The other one was his cleansing the temple. They got real busy thinking, okay, this guy's got to go. And so the wheels are turning, and the chief priests and all the religious leaders about, okay, this guy's got to go. And that's what happens on Monday. And so we're on track now. And so we'll look and see what happened on Tuesday and Wednesday. And there's some alternative views about when certain things happen. We'll talk about those and all. But tomorrow there's a lot of stuff happen. So I probably will take me a little longer than 5 to 10 minutes to do it tomorrow. But we're going to look at all the events that happened during Passion Week and Holy Week. And I'm looking forward to bringing that to you. So you have a blessed day and have a blessed Holy Week. And I hope you grow closer to the Lord this week as we think about the cross and are looking towards the Resurrection Sunday. Bye now.